Hey everybody, welcome to your horoscopes for this week. These are really exciting horoscopes for us, and especially everybody that's been following us from the beginning. These are it's our birthday. It's the Heavy Metal Psychic Video Horoscope birthday. We are celebrating 1 year of horoscope awesomeness this week, which is totally fantastic, and we're really super stoked about it. So I just want to say a quick thank you from both myself and drummer Dave, my sexy producer. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for being such loyal supporters of the Heavy Metal Psychic Video Horoscopes. It's just been an amazing year, and it's only gonna get better from here. But our job is horoscopes, and we're going to go ahead and get started with those horoscopes, and we're going to get started, as we always do, with Aries. We're going to kick off the week with some fire as the moon moves into grand fire trine position with Uranus in your sign and Venus. And it's big. We're talking big stuff going on, especially when it comes to finding the time to achieve those goals and dreams that are closest to your heart. And even with Venus being in retrograde, those dreams may seem a little bit far off. This grand fire trine and the moon's position in this grand fire trine is really showing you how much you owe it to yourself to go big this time and really make something of these goals and dreams. Not just think about it, but really do it. Now, Uranus' square position with Pluto might add a bit of a stickiness there when it feels like everybody seems to want a piece of your schedule. But this time around, it's time for you to turn that around on them. You're always there to help people out. Well, now it's time for them to reciprocate. When they come to you and they need your time, turn it around on them and says, hey, you know what? I actually need your help. And the more hands on deck you got, the better off you're going to be, because trust me, a lot of things are going in. We're talking big time. You're going to need the help. So be willing and open to ask and receive that help, and have them reciprocate back to you everything that you've put into it. And of course, once all is said and done, you can go and help them out as well. And it's a win-win situation for everybody. So you guys, go big or go home this week, because that's what it's all about. And have a great week with that. Taurus, when it comes to difficult relationships this week, whether they're present relationships or relationships that seem to be haunting you from the past, it's always about the lesson that this relationship has for you, not necessarily the other person. When we place the blame on the other individual, i.e., or for example, I should say, as in, I would be able to do all of these things, but unfortunately my father wouldn't let me do it, or things like that, you're really putting that power in somebody else's hands and really not owning it for yourself. At the same time, it also gets in the way from being able to develop yourself from the lessons that you learned in this relationship. This week it's about taking a step back and looking at those relationships for what they are. Every relationship, good or bad, has something to teach us, and it makes us who we are ultimately in the end, whether that's good, bad, or indifferent. When you have these relationships, it's always important to look at the lesson for yourself. What is it that you need to learn from this situation? Do you need to learn to speak up for yourself? Do you need to learn to be more understanding? Do you need to learn to see from somebody else's point of view? You need to learn to stand on your own 2 feet. There's always a lesson in this for everybody when it comes to these difficult relationships. And this week for you Tauruses, it's all about finding the positive lesson in those relationships. Did you have a difficult relationship at one time? What did it do for you? How did you grow through that relationship? How did you overcome obstacles that were placed in front of you because of that relationship? And look at your growth. The other person's lessons are none of our business. It is all about us in this particular instance. So this week, if those difficult relationships seem to come up and pop up and be a problem for you this week, it's up to you to understand what the lesson in that relationship is for you, so that you can grow past the difficulties. And I know you guys can, because you're Tauruses. So you guys have a great week with that. Gemini, it's all about identifying some negative patterns that you've got yourself stuck in this week. Everybody finds themselves in these negative patterns, especially they're usually often rooted in negative thought patterns, but difficulties that seem to keep replaying themselves over and over and over again. And money is actually one of those really good examples of these types of negative patterns, when you always find yourself broke or robbing Peter to pay Paul, or different situations like that. When you find yourself stuck in a rut or in a pattern that seems to repeat itself over and over again in a negative way, it's time to take a step out of that and identify your own power in making a change in that pattern. Now, oftentimes these patterns develop without us even realizing that they're developing, and also we really honestly sometimes feel that we don't have the power to change that pattern or reverse it into something that works for us. This week, it's all about seeing just how much power you have to flip that pattern around so that it's a positive and something that works for you rather than something that's holding you back. If it's a money situation, why am I always broke? That has a lot to do with your mindset about money. You feel you're always broke. You lived in this constant pattern of being broke, so consequently it's in your mind that you're going to be broke, and it's up to you to change that. Nobody can change that for you, and there is no lottery that's going to come in and fix that for you until you learn to change that. So this week, it's all about looking at those negative patterns as they come up. If you're saying in your mind, why does this always happen to me? It means it's time for you to put a stop to it so it doesn't happen to you anymore. Because you guys are Geminis, I know you can handle the responsibility of that. So you guys, be brave and be powerful. Own your power and have a great week with that. Cancer. It's all about working on the foundation of your goals and dreams this week. And when things start to slow down a little bit, this is always the perfect time to take a look at what you've done so far. When you're building something, whether you're building a project or putting energy into your dreams, oftentimes you go back and forth between really busy and major work in building this goal, and then a slow down period, which allows you to check what you've done so far and make sure that everything is according to plan, or everything that you've done so far works towards the common goal of success. So these slow down periods aren't necessarily boring periods or even failures, as in you're not doing something correctly. It's actually giving you a break from the work and giving you the opportunity to make sure that you've done everything that you felt you needed to do in order to move forward to the next steps. Also, this slowdown period kind of gives us a chance to build up some fear about the next steps of the process and what's coming up next. So consequently, this slowdown period is also preparing you for the next steps that, of course, in many cases you don't know about, or you don't know exactly what's going to happen. This week, it's all about taking a look at what you've done so far, making sure that all your ducks in a row and everything is in place, and then preparing yourself to walk blindly into the future of these dreams and goals to see where it's going to take you from this point. The truth is, everybody experiences fear on some level with these types of things, but you guys are bigger than that fear, and you know that no matter what you do, you can't fail if you're trying. So you guys have a great week with that. Leo, as the moon moves into position to trine with Venus in your sign, and Venus is already trined with Uranus in Aries, this makes a grand fire trine for the first 2 days of the week. And fire trines are all about energy and getting things done, because that's what the fire energy is all about. It's about movement, and it's about forward progress. Starting off the week with this grand fire trine and with Mars in conjunction with Venus is all about your dreams and the responsibility to your own development in achieving these goals and dreams. So really, this grand fire trine is starting off the week letting you know that your own goals, whether they be professional or personal, are so important to your own personal development, your own personal success. And if that's the case, why worry about where they're going? The whole point is to be open to wherever they're going to go and just go and just do it. Whatever comes to you, the steps that come to you, as long as you're taking care of them and moving forward, you know you're doing what it is that you need to do. And of course, it's not going to be easy. It never is. When you're talking about development on a personal level, it's not easy. It can be easy, but we're human beings and we're emotional beings, and that makes it a little bit of a difficulty. But this week, you're going to feel that pull to get things done. You're going to feel that push to make sure that you achieve these goals and dreams that you got set for yourself. And you're going to understand why it is so important to you to do this. It's not just because you want it. It is part of your journey. So this week, it's all about bravely walking towards the unknown, whatever it is that's coming towards you, and grabbing a hold of it with both hands, because you know what, guys? You wear the crown and you deserve it. So you guys have a great week with that. Virgo, it's official. I could say happy birthday, Virgo, because we're starting the week off with the sun in Virgo. And happy birthday to all of you lovely Virgos that are born this week and celebrating birthdays. As the sun moves into Virgo, he moves more and more into conjunction. We'll be in complete conjunction with Jupiter this week, as a matter of fact, which also means that he's joining Jupiter's opposition with Neptune this week. And this is going to be a bit of a difficulty when it feels like you're pulled between what you want to do and your responsibilities to others. And it sort of creates this tug-of-war situation that can be very difficult and on an emotional level make you feel like you're shirking your responsibilities in order to do what you want. As the sun keeps moving through this conjunction and Saturn moves into position to join or to create a T-square between all of these planets, it creates even more of a challenge. But at the same time, Saturn's placement in this aspect is very important because it's showing you your responsibilities to yourself and how these goals and dreams are a part of that responsibility to yourself. It's also showing you where in the past this has held you back before, that feeling of being pulled between your dreams and what everybody else thinks that you should be doing. Now, your responsibilities are not meant to get in the way of your progress. They're meant to complement what it is that you're doing, and also it's your responsibility to others to show them how important achieving their goals and dreams are. So this week there is a challenge. It is a little bit of a difficulty, but at the same time these challenges promote the best growth for the individual. And when it's all said and done, think of how awesome you're going to be standing on your own 2 feet at the end of it. So be brave, guys, and have a great week with that. Libra, get ready to feel the love from your admirers this week. When it comes to reciprocation of all of the wonderful things that you do for other people, this week is definitely ripe with that. But it's not just about doing, it's about the words. As Mercury moves into your sign towards the end of the week, you're going to be hopefully prepared to get a lot of feedback, a lot of gratitude, a lot of thank yous, and a lot of positive communication back from those that you've worked so hard to be there for and help out and teach, and all of the wonderful things that you Libras do. We all know that you're always there ready to help somebody out. It's time for you guys to feel the reciprocation of that this week. Mercury's aspect with Saturn is also there reminding you of your responsibility to receive this love and gratification, and also reminds you it's just as important, if not more important, than the amazing way that you give that love and help and all of those wonderful things that you do to other people. So this week, it's all about basking in the love, because you guys definitely deserve it for everything that you put out there. And I hope that you guys enjoy it and have a great week with that. Scorpio, as Saturn spends his last few weeks in your sign, he's definitely bringing you some challenges and some lessons to learn. And as he moves into T-squared position with the Sun, Jupiter, and Uranus this week, it's definitely going to be a big one. when it comes down to feeling as if your success is as far away as possible because of some of your own preconceived ideas about yourself and whether or not you can be successful. But Saturn's placement with Mercury is very strong, reminding you your responsibility to your communication. And this is not your communication to others. This is specifically about your communication to yourself, your own internal ego self-talk that goes on, that everybody has, and it can be really, really good or it can be really, really bad. It just depends on how you're using that ego in this particular situation. When it comes down to it, Saturn and Mercury's aspect together is teaching you how important your internal communication is to your success, and how important your success is a responsibility to yourself. So this week is all about looking in the mirror and looking past all of those things that you don't care for about yourself. You're not looking in the mirror and saying, I see wrinkles and I see somebody who's stupid and I see all of these different negative things. You want to look all past that to the awesome things about yourself. What are your gifts to the world? What abilities are you putting into this success? What work have you already put into it so far? And it's only then when you can actually really see just how much you deserve the success in the first place. And that helps you turn that internal communication around to something more positive and have you back on track where you belong. Remember, you can't fail if you try in the first place. And if you try and it doesn't work, that means you got to try it in a different way. But you're never going to fail unless you give up. So don't give up, guys, and have a great week with that. Sagittarius, the moon kicks off this week in your sign for 2 days of a grand fire trine, Sunday and Monday, and we're talking action, because that's what fire trines are all about. They're all about action and getting things done. And the moon's placement in this, she's really digging deep here on an emotional level inside of you, pulling on something that you've been really pulled to do for a while, but you don't really know exactly how to go about it. It's one of those things. When you feel that internal pull, it means it's your intuition telling you it's time to go and see what you can get out of this. Learn how to get started. Just open up your mind to believing that you can start. Take the steps to go forward in this particular circumstance and see where it leads you. You never know. It might be just the thing that just always been lacking that you didn't realize was lacking in the first place. And if nothing comes of it, at least it's going to be a fantastic adventure. And I know that you Saggies love an adventure from time to time. So this week it's all about action. It's getting things done. It's not ignoring your intuitive pull, but going in that direction and being completely open to whatever it is that is coming to you out of this intuitive feeling. You never know, it may be the greatest thing that ever happened to you. So I hope that you guys have a great week with that, because it sounds like it's going to be pretty amazing. Capricorn, as Pluto and Uranus, a squared position, do cause difficulties when it comes to old difficulties or old patterns with those that you love, it's time to take a step back and identify what keeps triggering this pattern that goes over and over and over again. Now, oddly enough, this week, Pluto's aspects with Neptune and Mercury on the Sun are really giving some beautiful organization and things coming together when it comes to your home and your career. So you got a lot of things working very well for you, and then this little thing comes in to kind of sort of screw things up. One thing that you want to do is avoid the mindset of, I can never have anything perfect, everything's running smoothly, and then something like this comes along. That might be the trigger right there. And you're actually manifesting that into your own life and circumstance. And then you find out that you're the cause of the problem in the first place because you have this negative mindset. The universe works in mysterious ways, and the universe is always there to give. And it gives what you ask for every single time. So if it's a negative mindset, you're going to get what that negative mindset is trying to tell you. If you're open to positivity and abundance, positivity and abundance is going to come to you. Either way, the universe is ready to give you whatever it is that you ask for. So this week, it's all about asking in the proper way. You have everything working smoothly. It's been a while because it's been a little bit crazy. When you got everything working smoothly, don't rock that boat. Don't let a pessimistic mindset get in the way of further success. And you guys can do this because you're Capricorns, dang it. If anybody can, it's you. So you guys have a great week with that. Aquarius, it's time to mind your thoughts this week because those thoughts can be a very powerful manifestation to what you want out of life. And as the moon moves into your sign this week, she's going to move into opposition with Mars and Venus and in the house of your goals and dreams. And this is a very clear indication that your own thoughts can make or break what it is that you want to do. While you're sitting and worrying about whether or not something is going to take place or something is going to happen, you're not productive, you're not proactive, you're not doing anything other than sitting there and worrying about it. So one, you're getting in the way of your own success. You're basically standing in front of the door and saying, nope, I don't want the abundance and I don't want the success. And it sounds kind of silly when you say it that way, but that's exactly what it is that you're doing. This week, if things get scary, that's when you know that you should be doing it, or that's when you know that it's worth it to do it, because if it's scary, it really means something to you. So it's time to face that fear and barrel through it to see what's on the other side of it. Now the moon's aspect, or I should say trine with Mercury, is beautiful because it does open up encouragement from others, especially those that are there to support you. But it also shows you that you have those encouraging words for you too. And actually, they come easier than those encouraging words from your supporters, regardless of how many supporters you have. So this week, it's all about minding that internal communication, turning it around if it's negative, make sure that it's positive, and whatever you do, you're open to the abundance, and you're open to moving forward in your goals and dreams and grabbing a hold of everything it is that you want. I know you guys can do it, and you guys have a great week with that. And finally, Pisces, Neptune's opposition with Jupiter and the Sun is making some really big difficulties this week when it feels like your career goals are farther and farther and farther away in terms of the success and achievement of them. And it seems that your own other responsibilities in your life are grounding you, keeping you grounded in a very unhealthy way. You want to avoid, of course, using those responsibilities as an excuse to feed your fear of your own success. But at the same time, as Saturn moves into T-squared position with all of these planets, it makes it even more difficult. Luckily, we have this beautiful aspect between Neptune and Pluto that really helps you to see where this situation has happened before in the past in your own personal timeline. You've been through this circumstance before. What was it that happened then that really stopped the progress in this particular dream and goal? And it may not even be the same career goal. It may be a different career goal, but it's still the same situation. What happened at that time to breed failure rather than success? And make sure that you avoid that this time and move on by trying something a little bit different. And you keep trying something different until you find what actually works and what breeds success, and that is really, really important. And sometimes it takes a few oopsies or a few failures in order to find what breeds success. So this week, it's all about taking a look at the situation for what it is. Are you using the responsibilities around you to feed your fear and stop you from moving forward? If you are, it's time to knock that off and start trying new things when it comes to achieving your success in your career. Anything that doesn't work, put it on the, obviously throw it in the trash because it's not working, and bring in the next thing to try to see if that works. But the main thing that you have to have is faith in yourself to make sure that it gets done. And I know you guys can do that. Believe in yourselves and see just how far you can go. So you guys have a great week with that. Thanks again for watching the horoscopes this week. I'm Melissa Bruce. We are at our very first full year of horoscopes done. We're moving on to the beginning of the second year of horoscopes and hoping that they're going to keep going for a long time from now. We'll see what happens because, you know, we just don't know what happens in the future. But our plan is to keep them going for a while, and I'm pretty sure that we might cause a riot if we took them away. So I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you guys next week. Keep it rocking.